I tell you what, Chelsea fans, my word. You know, I'm feeling a bit like a clown because I saw Cole Palmer was out in the warm-up, and of course, I never want to see the best players in the Premier League injured. But as a rival fan, I was like, oh, okay, we'll have a look at that Chelsea game. They'll probably have a lot of difficulties now. Cole Palmer always runs things for them in there, and I was like, you know what? I'll have a little look at that game. I also saw that they went 1-0 down with Paqueta, and I was like, oh, this one's looking very sticky for Chelsea. I don't think they can come back. Then I remembered Estevao was the guy that replaced Cole Palmer, and that Chelsea have a newfound mentality. And my word, did they show their mentality to get back from adversity. A freakish goal from Paqueta. Sanchez probably should have done better. But as an Arsenal fan, I went to put on my Arsenal kit, like I said, and I just felt like a clown because Chelsea just went through the gears so quickly. And I see a lot of Chelsea fans call me Tyreek George. You're like, oh, this guy, you know, look at him. He looks like Tyreek George. I do wish it was Tyreek George that was given the chance instead of Estevao, because my word, Estevao, what a player he is. And there's been a lot of questions about Estevao and his adaptability to the Premier League. But I think we all saw that he can adapt to the Premier League. When you're a good player, it doesn't matter about the physicals. Your mentals will show, your technicals will show. And that's exactly what happened with Estevao. The way he picked up the ball and drove to assist not Pedro Neto, sorry, I'm even getting confused because Chelsea scored that many goals, but to assist Enzo Fernandez is unbelievable. The burst, the drive, the intensity in his actions. You know, because it's not easy. It's not easy. When you're getting into a game and you have the idea that you're going to be on the bench, you can kind of go through your warm-up, you be a lackadaisical, you don't think you're going to come on, you're just sort of trolling a little bit. But then to get up to match speed, to get your frame, your mentality in the right mindset, it's hard. But Estevao, you know, it just speaks volumes of not only the player he is, but also the freakish mentality he has. He just adapted to the situation and was ready, raring to go. And you know what the thing is? I didn't make a video after Chelsea drew 0-0 to Crystal Palace because I wanted to see these guys. Let's see how they bounce back. Let's see the mentality. I saw Estevao's cameo against Crystal Palace, and I was kind of shocked that he wasn't in the starting lineup in the first place. But the way he came into the game with that sort of fire in his belly, it's probably what Maresca's looking after. He doesn't want to throw him into the deep end, and then you don't see that extra hunger and extra mentality to show the manager what you've got. But I think now it's going to be very hard for anyone to displace Estevao at the side. And hopefully Palmer's injury for you guys isn't too long, because I'd love to see that link up. I do still think Palmer was missed in terms of the way he cooled the game down, how the game runs through him. But when you've got players like Estevao coming in to replace him, you're in a very good position. And it wasn't just Estevao running the show. I mean, Joao Pedro. You know, as an Arsenal fan, I always remember the 22-23 season when Arsenal just signed Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, and nobody expected us to rise. Nobody expected the impact of Gabriel Jesus. Joao Pedro is having that impact on Chelsea that Gabriel Jesus initially had that impact on Arsenal. And obviously they're not exactly the same players. They're also quality in their own rights and score different type of goals. But that Brazilian flair, that Brazilian hunger, that Brazilian fight to put the ball into the back of the net from Joao Pedro was unbelievable. That goal, the anticipation of Cucurella's header, was unreal. And you know what? I was watching the Crystal Palace game last week. Chelsea did try a lot of those near post corners into Cucurella and it failed. But testament to Chelsea and their coaching team and their sort of corner taking team, or whatever you want to call it, set piece coach. They kept at it and they got their reward today. Jolly on the spot, Joao Pedro, and he did that little celebration where he goes like that. And I can't lie, it rattled me a bit, but I just sort of looked at the TV and I gave his flowers. I gave him his flowers. I was like, Joao Pedro, right place, right time. He would have been disappointed last week not to get off to a flying start at Stamford Bridge, but such is his mentality, such is his hunger, he was able to just lift himself to get into the box and score. That is what you want to see. And he doesn't even stop there with Joao Pedro, because he sets up a wonderful goal for Pedro Neto. The way he picked up that ball and dinked it into the path of Neto is sublime. It is sublime. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's how you break down low blocks. You have deep runners like Pedro Neto into the box, but you have a passer, somebody that can drop deep and play that ball over the top. And that's Joao Pedro. The perfect false nine performance in terms of goals and assists. Jolly on the spot. predatory, but also he can create. He can see those runners. And fair play to Pedro Neto, because I think he's showing everyone, yeah, you can get your Jamie Bino Gittins, you can have Estevao, but I'm not here to be brushed over. He had a phenomenal Club World Cup, did Pedro Neto. He really did. And he's now getting himself acclimatized to Chelsea Football Club. You could tell he feels like he belongs in that team now. And again, I say this to many of those Chelsea players, it's going to be hard to displace the guys that are starting already. You know, that game against Crystal Palace is what I call a blip. Something that can happen in a season. You can have a couple of games like that where it just doesn't quite happen for you to score and win the game. But now that momentum is there, and we're seeing the quality of Chelsea. We're seeing the Pedros. We're seeing the Netos of this world really grabbing their opportunity by the scruff of its neck. Really, really good. And I can't go on with this video and not talk about Caicedo. This guy is a destroyer in there. Getting his goal on his 100th appearance is a testament to him as a player. He's always available and he's always jolly on the spot in a defensive sense. But today, in an attacking sense, he was jolly on the spot as well. So that was a really, really good moment for him. Obviously, Hermansen, the goalkeeper, should have done a lot better. He has to be commanding his box better. And I'm going to be honest, it is a poor West Ham side. So when I am complimenting Chelsea, I do recognise that West Ham side isn't the best physically, mentally, and technically. It's not the best. But you can only beat what's in front of you. And I see a lot of people saying this game doesn't count. It's only West Ham. You got to beat the team in front of you. And the performances of certain players, they rose to the challenge because you can almost get sucked in. And I thought that was what was happening at the start of the game. I thought Chelsea were getting sucked in by West Ham to play West Ham's game and be scruffy, to be technically on a low level without Cole Palmer. But they grew into the game. And that's why, as a rival fan like me, that's a lesson to myself. You don't just come into a game and you sort of look at the first goal go in and get excited, because there's so many more minutes of football to play. And this is a new Chelsea side mentality-wise. And of course, it was nice to see Nathaniel Chalobah get on, not Nathaniel, sorry, that's his brother, Trevor Chalobah, get onto the score sheet. I'm even butchering his name because it's quite rare for him to even be jolly on the spot scoring a goal like that. A gift for him, but a nice moment. With the Colwill injury, it's probably the only blemish on that result is the clean sheet gone. But I thought from a defensive standpoint, in terms of squeezing West Ham and letting Fulkrug have absolutely nothing, it really was good to see Chelsea as a unit. They even got to have the likes of Joao Pedro coming on. So if you were really to think about it, apart from maybe Delap not scoring, but I think he had a really good performance as well. He linked up well with Estevao for the assist for Endo Fernandez. So there was already that linking up, that sort of know-how of where a player can be, because there was a bit of shock, initially seeing Delap and Joao Pedro together, but they can work together. We saw really positive aspects of both those players' games when they were together. But anyway, Chelsea fans, congratulations on that win. You guys looked really dominant.